guys, it's Leanne and I'm here today with my March wrap up. I read 5 novels in the month of March, I finished 1 graphic novel and I finished 1 middle grade novel. It was a decent month, especially considering that my currently reading shelf on Goodreads is about this size. Okay, so the first thing that I read this month was Black Sad, A Silent Hill. This is book 2 or volume 2, whatever, in the Black Sad trilogy. If you haven't heard anything about Black Sad before, this is a noir detective series. And I think the anthropomorphized characters are very interesting in that the characters' personalities are represented by the animals that the artists choose. I ended up giving this one 3 stars. I definitely enjoyed it a bit less than the first volume. It was a bit more confusing, but I absolutely love John Blacksad. I can't wait to read the final volume of this. I might in fact read it in April. The first novel that I read in March was In a Dark Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. This is marketed as a suspense novel, but I would say that it is more a mystery rather than anything else. The suspense is quite minimal. It focuses on a crime writer, Nora, I like that twist although they didn't really do very much with it, who after 10 years of not seeing her best friend ends up getting an invitation to her hen party in the middle of nowhere. She really debates with herself whether this is something that she wants to do, but she ends up going with a collection of other strange characters from her old best friend's Claire's life. This is a really weird one for me because despite the fact that the actual mystery itself was incredibly predictable, I pretty much had it down from the first 40 pages or so, and the main character was frustrating, to say the least. I still read it in 2 days. Part of it is just that Ruth Ware has a very entertaining writing style. It is straight up, no frills, easy to delve into, you don't have to use your brain very much. And in fairness to all concerned, there were a few observations on how we treat our past and how we represent ourselves in front of people from our past. I would say that if you're in the mood for something quick and mystery / suspenseful, pick this up. It is a book that does not require very much work. On the other hand, if you're looking for a deeper character study or you're looking for more actual suspense in your suspenseful novel, I would maybe give this one a miss. The next thing that I read in March has become a firm favourite with me, and it is Goth Girl and the Ghost of a Mouse by Chris Riddell. A lot of you may recognise Chris Riddell's name, and that is because he is a very prolific illustrator when it comes to middle grade and children's novels. Goth Girl and the Ghost of a Mouse is one of those dual narrative middle grade novels where as an adult you will take doubly as much from it as you will as a child. It basically is a great big fat satire of the Gothic novel. Ada Goth lives in the huge crumbling Gothic mansion of Ghastly Gorm Hall with her father, who sadly is her only parent as her mother died in a tragic accident on the roof of Ghastly Gorm Hall when Ada was a child. Ada doesn't have much interaction with anybody except for her governesses who turn up from the psychic governess agency when she least expects them. Until one day, this little guy turns up. And in response to Ada's inquiry of, "Who are you?" he responds, "Call me Ishmael." And in the end, I gave this one 4 stars. The only reason I couldn't give it 5 stars was because I really wanted more of it. But needless to say, I have already picked up the other volumes and I will be reading them very soon. And I recommend that you do the same. The next novel that I picked up in March was The Surgeon by Tess Gerritsen. I am going to say almost nothing about this novel because I have a whole separate review for my Crime Corner video, my first Crime Corner video, and I will link it in the description below. The next novel that I picked up in March was the absolutely fabulous In the Woods by Tana French. This is the first book in the Dublin Murder Squad series. It features Rob Ryan and his partner Cassie, who are junior detectives on the Murder Squad. They accidentally land their first big case in a tiny little village off Knocknaree, which turns out to play a large part in Rob Ryan's history, because he was 20 years previous the one little boy who came out of those woods alive, covered in blood and without his 2 friends. I am going to do a separate review for this one for Crime Corner because I have a lot to say about it, but I gave it 4 stars, which was almost 5 stars up until the last third of the novel. The next novel that I picked up in March was Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I actually picked this up around about October last year, but I actually ran ran out of time to do the reread of the whole series by the end of the year. And then for my birthday, I was gifted with the full set of the US audiobooks. The US audiobooks are read by Jim Dale, and I absolutely love his interpretation. So technically I'm listening to these on the audiobook, but marking the pages. I have already started listening to Chamber of Secrets, and I am sure I will show you them in my April wrap up. And then finally in March I picked up this one. This is A Murder is Announced. It is the 5th Miss Marple novel by Agatha Christie. I went to see this in February, I believe, with my lovely wife Helen and Claire from the Book Fox. I hadn't read the book, I didn't know the conclusion of it going into the play, and although some subtle things were changed from the book, they in fact had actually stayed very close to the original script. The person playing Miss Marple is not one of my favourite actresses in the world, and I didn't really enjoy her interpretation, but everybody else, especially the person who played Letitia, were fabulous. Absolutely fabulous, and I could not help but think about them when I was listening to this book. And again, I was listening to this one, I was listening to the unabridged HarperCollins version, which are all bar I think 2 narrated by Joan Hickson, who is very famous for playing Miss Marple and is possibly the best audio narrator I have ever heard in my life. This came very close to blowing 13 Problems out of the water, which is the second Miss Marple novel. I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars, and if you are someone who just wants to dip in and out of the Miss Marple series and isn't particularly bothered about reading them in order, I would pick up this one ASAP. So that is everything that I read in March, and now it is time to announce who won the giveaway. So I used randomnumbergenerator.org, I believe, to pick one of 70 out of the hat. And it picked number 55, which is the luscious Katie from Katie Loves to Read. Katie, I will get in touch with you very shortly to get your postage address, so look forward to this coming your way. And I shall see you soon with my moderately sized March book haul. Bye!